Stitch number 46 is named the Mock Hand Quilting Stitch. Now, this is a very unique stitch that, number one, you use clear thread in the needle, and it's going to look like you're stitching by hand with the colored thread you'll be seeing is actually in the bobbin. So a couple things about this stitch. Number one, look at what the tension says. It says that we need to take it up to 7, 8, or 9. So I'm going to just get it up there kind of on the tight place. Now I'm going to cheat just a little bit. One thing I do know is that clear thread loves to tangle all around things when I lay it down. So a thread stands your best bet. But for today, I'm going to just set it right down in front of the machine and go up and around the vertical spool pin. And I'm going to go ahead and thread it, even though I can't see the thread, because, well, that's why they call it invisible thread. And I might be able to use the needle threader. It's kind of one of those, you just hook it in and it pulls it through. Whether you can see it or not is kind of how it goes. So I am going to stitch on some fabric that has some batting sandwiched between it, like it's actually a quilt stitch. Now this is a manipulated stitch. We do use the dual feed. The little picture of stabilizer can be, like I said, the batting part of it. Once you start increasing tension to this level, it's to bring that bobbin thread up from the bobbin and drag it to the top of the fabric. And things start to go a little haywire sometimes. Like I said, this is a manipulated stitch. So just because it is in your machine doesn't mean that it works 100% of the time. I have found some battings that don't always work well. I've had some thread in my bobbin that never wants to pull up between all these layers and make a look of a stitch. I've had some clear thread just not be the right kind. So all these variables can make how this stitch turned out, whether it turns out or not. So just because it doesn't work on the first time you try it, just means that you might just need to try a different combination. Maybe a different clear thread if you've got an older spool from a few years ago. And so let's just go ahead and start. Oh, I have my feed dogs down from the last thing that I was actually doing. So I want to go ahead and bring those up. I was doing some free motion quilting last. There we go, now they'll come up. And I could hear them just click right up into place. So kind of nice. I didn't actually need to see them. Sometimes when I am stitching with clear thread at this really tight tension, I do want to take my time just a little bit, just make sure everything's running smoothly. I don't always go full speed until I feel confident enough to do just that. Actually today, it looks like we are getting the stitch that we are hoping for. So you see that it's actually going kind of forward, back, forward in this little dance pattern. And what it's doing is each time it goes back, it is dragging the bobbin thread up through the batting to make it look like we have a stitch that is sewn by hand. The key is just to have the right settings and keep trying it until you get it to look the way you want it to look.